What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? What, because of this? I don't understand what the problem is. What, a can't go to McDonald's? Can't eat his goy slop, get his double quarter pounder with cheese? Luisius, did you know that McDonald's is bad for you? Yes! It's spooky season, guys. And I forgot to dig up my dead doll. Alright, guys. This is Daisy. Everyone say hi. Be nice to her! People have been asking about the frog, Dixie Stew. He's always been up there. But how, we'll put him here. You know, have his little day in the spotlight. Progressively throughout this series, I'll just add more and more and more on the table till it's just like a cluster. Anyways, it's spooky season, and that means that it's time to go open up 4chan's X board. For those of you that don't know what the X board is, the X board is a section on 4chan where people post their spooky stories, paranormal activities, and stuff like that. And occasionally there's something funny or interesting on it. Anyways, the first post we're looking at is, can DMT entities be racist? So we got this screenshot of a Reddit post. Can DMT entities be racist? I've never taken DMT myself, but as a person of color, I am somewhat... Oh wait, hold on. I gotta do the funny voice, hold on. Hey, yo! Can DMT entities be racist, dog? I ain't never taken DMT myself, but as a person of color, I am somewhat worried. I have heard stories of African Americans getting called the N-word by these entities. Does this happen often? Can DMT entities be racist or Islamophobe? Oh wait, no, he's a Muslim. Can't even be racist, right, man? Hey, yo, bro starts taking DMT. He sees the pyramids flying, and who's piloting the ship up in the top of the pyramid? They look through the glass window, and it's an... Listen, man, black people, they built the pyramids. Deal with it, whitey. Racist white. They don't want you to know this, but George Washington was black. Anyways, this post is about DMT, and DMT is basically like this psychedelic drug. It's kind of like LSD, you take it, you start seeing the pretty colors, right? And it's really been promoted and brought into popularity by people like Joe Rogan. So people take DMT and they get like straight convinced that they're like seeing demons and like it's this big like spiritual experience for them. And I used to be all into the DMT stuff because back before I became Christian, I was really on this like journey to try and find like the spiritual truth and right. And so I thought like taking DMT would be like the key to enlightenment. I thought I would be able to like see into the spirit world if I just took DMT. Hey, do you like the hoodie I'm wearing in this video? Well, you can buy it! Head over to URFRIENDLYHOOD.com/shop. It's a part of my Halloween merch. Get it now! Limited time offer. I don't know, man. Just go buy it. One of the main ways that you get DMT is from this like poisonous frog that lives in South America in like the rainforests. Now, of course, there are other ways to get DMT, but that's like the most potent one. And so there's this like culture in South America where these like Native Americans have built these resorts where they charge like thousands of dollars to these dumb rich whites to come all the way out into the middle of the jungle in South America so they can lick a frog. Like literally, that's what they do. Anyway, so as the poisonous frog is poisoning their brain with neurotoxin, people who take it start hallucinating like these entities coming to visit them from the spirit realm. They'll like see like demons, and then the demons are like bad, and they're like, God's not real, God's not real. And people claim that they see God when they take this stuff. And I know this one guy, his name's D-Patch on Instagram, and he takes like psychedelic drugs all day, every day, because he like somehow thinks that he's getting communion with God, and he's like convinced himself that like magic mushrooms are like the manna that fell from the sky that Moses ate during Exodus. Oh, pleb it. Never taken DMT, but I've heard people describe these jester entities making fun of your insecurities for taking too seriously, like being called an I just think it's so funny because when you hear the way that these like big drug heads talk about it, it's always like so autistic. Dude, I saw like this jester entity and it pointed out my insecurities and I learned to grow as a person. It's like, there's this guy, I forget the name of the channel, but I'll post a link to it if I can find it. And he's talking about how like he's taking DMT so that he can learn stuff about himself. Talking about how like the DMT entities, they like explain to him his problems. He goes out, he travels once a year to this South American village and licks a frog. Imagine you have to go lick a frog in South America to gain self-knowledge. Like, you're so completely lost in the world, can't use your brain to think about anything. That you need to go take DMT. And like, all the conclusions that they come to are so stupid. If someone took DMT and came back from it and they had like some, they understood quantum relativity or something. But it's like, no, it's just like the most obvious. Man. Like, this groundbreaking, revolutionary stuff that they're seeing in their little drug trip is literally that I would come up with in like 4th grade out of my own imagination without taking any drugs whatsoever. But they're like so convinced that this is like the deepest ever, man. DMT entities are trickster demons and they just want to with people. If someone is triggered by racism, then they will attempt to with someone with racism. Likewise, if someone is a devout Christian, they will try to claim that they are gods and speak of new age nonsense and talk someone away from Christ. There's a reason why they shriek in terror and then start to attack people whenever they mention Christ in hyperspace. Yeah, so there is like a element to this that is kind of like spooky because a lot of these like DMT entities that these people see like hate Christianity. Like, they'll tell you God's not real. These people, they're like tripping, and so they come out of these like DMT experiences just believing whatever these DMT entities are. And like, are they demons? Like, I don't know, right? Like, they could be demons, right? Like, they could literally be demons. It could just be like the imaginations of a low IQ idiot. But you know, that's kind of spooky, you know? Like, people, they get abducted by aliens. I'm not talking about DMT right now, just in general. And many times they get abducted by aliens, and if they just say Jesus, these aliens will like freak the out and leave. Shut the up, Christ. These entities who show themselves to you plainly are trying to lead you away from God, who doesn't show any evidence of his existence. Moronic. I saw an entity the size of a planet made of translucent geometric shapes sit down in front of me to ponder my existence before telling me I wasn't supposed to be there and tapping me on the chest to send me back to reality. When I came to, I could see my friends in the room how they saw themselves. Literally one of the most intense and beautiful experiences of my life. Absolutely zero trickster bullshit. God's not real. I saw pretty colors when I took funny neurotoxin that destroys your brain. Like, do we really think that licking a toad, licking a poisonous frog, like they literally like take a frog and they go, and they lick it. Do we really think that like licking this frog is really opening up our minds to like some new reality? so we're gonna see into the spiritual plane. Like, is this frog like secretly like a demon? Is he an alien species of frog? Like, or perhaps the frog is poisonous, and in small doses you can survive the poisoning, but it causes your brain to temporarily malfunction and see things that aren't there. Oh, dude, I was seeing into the spirit realm, man. I pray to God and my bank account doubles, you know? I pray to God for money. The very same minute, my bank account doubled. You know, when I pray to God, things actually happen in like the real tangible world, you know? God like actually has like real power here. These DMT entities, they just like are there in your mind and you like see them. What, do they ever like help you in any way, or like And you can, and the thing is, you can only see them and only communicate with them when you're on this drug. So like, and it's like every time you take the drug, it's not like you're gonna see the same thing. Every time it's something totally different. It's like you can't live in drug land forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do these drugs, but it's like you live most of your life in the real world. And if you take these drugs constantly, you will die. You will puke and inhale your vomit and drown. It's like there's this whole other world around us, but we can never interact with it, and it doesn't affect us in any way except for when you're on this drug. Like, why don't we like focus on like your real life, you know? like there's also more evidence of demons in the world than there is proof of God. So does that mean demons who possess people are themselves gods? It's the Bible says that demons are real. Evidently, we look at the world and there seems to be demonic activity. I've had spiritual experiences before. Could that mean that God's real and what the Bible says is true because things that are in the Bible are actually real? No way! That's stupid! I just don't get these people. It's like, you claim that you've performed these like magic rituals, you've like drawn the pentagram on the floor and summoned a demon, and that's just like totally fine for you. How is it such a big stretch that there's like a God that created everything? What the is wrong with these people? It's sad how dependent and drug referential psychedelics users are. There's no work you do yourself. You just pop a drug, feel something profound, and then take the profundity at face value. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just hate drug users, right? Like, I'm not anti-drug because like the school told me to be anti-drug, you know? Like, a lot of weed smokers get it in their head that like the only reason you would ever be anti-drug is because you've been like brainwashed by society or something. But no, that's not why I'm anti-drug. I used to be like really pro-drug and think drugs were cool. The reason I'm anti-drug is because I've seen my friends and loved ones and just people I don't even know do drugs, and they either die, ruin their lives, or become the majority of the people become, and I don't want to be a so I don't do drugs. And since I don't want other people to be disabled, I advocate for them not to do drugs either. Like, you're just doing something to experience a sensation that fades away fairly quickly, and it provides you with no value beyond the sensation. So you just get the sensation and then that's it, and you're back to your boring, depressing life. And it's just sad to live that way. Like, I want people to be happy. I want people to like actually be able to live in the real world and experience the real world as being profound, you know, to be doing things that are like so great in the real world that their life is profound. Am I there yet? No, but I'm definitely like experience frequently moments where the things I see in my life are so profound and so beautiful that I cry. And all of that's happened because I became a believer in God. I became a believer in Jesus Christ, and God has affected my life and influenced my life, and I see his blessings constantly. If you just believe in Jesus and believe that Jesus rose from the dead after he was killed through crucifixion, if you just believe that, literally God will answer all of your prayers. What's good, people? What's good? Welcome back to Your Friendly Hood's Untitled Show. I believe we are on episode 43. This is Fancy, says Free Gray Sis. By the way, shout out to Free Gray Sis in the chat. She's a woman, she's a femoid, you know, so you gotta be careful, But she has a cool YouTube channel. She preaches the word of God. Now, some people might want to pull a, what is it? It's 1 Timothy or 2 Timothy. Pull out that verse. Listen, we'll give her a pass, okay? Listen, you know, women, they have authority over lost men, okay? They have authority over false prophets, okay? So we'll let it slide. Right? But but anyways, so welcome back to Your Friendly Hood's Untitled Show. How's everybody been doing? I have a little poll in the chat here. I want to know your questions because today we're going to be getting into the red pill sphere, life advice sphere. And so I have a poll in the chat right now. Do you feel like a failure? Right now we got 67% saying yes, 33% saying no. So I'll revisit that poll once we get into our main topic here. But how's everybody been doing? We got a Kenji in the chat. We have Pavle Kovacevic. Long time no see to Pavle. It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see you. He's talking about how Islam is allegedly based on psychedelics, and you know, I believe it. I mean, Mohammed probably just, you know, licked a toad, licked a frog, licked a poisonous frog in a cave. And then, you know, this demon came to him, or maybe it was just a total hallucination came to him, told him to start Islam. Of course, we got Akenji in the chat. Akenji's talking about how he feels like a mega failure. He says it's because of missed opportunities. I have not been doing shit for the past 3 years. But it looks like a whole ass civil war is going to happen, so I don't know whether to keep going or throw the towel in. Well, I'm kind of... OBS just disconnected. What the? Why did OBS just disconnect? Are we going to have another problem with the stream here? It's no good. Everybody, you gotta pray. The devil's coming after us. The devil's trying to stop the stream. What's going on here? But listen, you know, I don't know if I'm necessarily in the right place to give you life advice, because there are a lot of people that hate me, and there's a lot of people that say that I'm a failure. And so, you know, am I in the right place to give life advice? But I would say, focus on your moral development. You know, we read the book of Ecclesiastes, and the book of Ecclesiastes says that the only things that matter ultimately in this life is our moral decisions, whether or not we choose to obey God or disobey God, because we're going to be rewarded or punished in the afterlife based on our actions. And so that should be the main focus of our lives, and everything else is just meaningless suffering, basically. Even the things that, you know, people say are important, like, you know, money, even family, friends. I mean, people, you know, there's this idea, you know, having a family, having a trad family is very wholesome and good. And, you know, it is, but it's all meaningless suffering, right? It's vanity and vexation of spirit. So, I don't know. So that would be my advice to you. But we're going to be looking at some life advice today. But before we get into that, I had to go on a little bit of a rant. Because I've just had this little bit of anger in my heart. This little like fire of anger in my heart over the past like day or two. I don't know what it is. So I had this dream. I won't get into what exactly the dream was, what exactly it entailed. But it led me to just going on to Twitter based on the dream, based on kind of like the ideas that were implanted in my head from the dream. And I was checking Twitter because I don't use Twitter at all. But I have an account technically, but I don't use it. But I was just checking Twitter, seeing what's up. And I was just looking at, all the people who are on Twitter, former friends, former, I guess maybe you could say allies or whatever, just saying like so much evil shit about me. There's so much messed up, slanderous stuff against me. And I've been looking at, people on my videos, people on, just saying like the most evil shit to me. People coming into my DMs saying the most evil shit to me. And it just pisses me off, it just pisses me off, honestly. And, just the blatant hypocrisy of a lot of these people. Just this kind of pattern, this Jewish pattern of, crying out while they beat you. And that's what a lot of these people have been doing to me. A lot of these work salvationists have been doing to me, crying out while they beat me to death. And I'm still salty over a lot of the way a lot of people have treated me. And I don't know, maybe I have to just, give it up. Maybe I have to give up. I have to let go of the anger. But I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go down a vindictive road, I don't want to go down a vindictive road. We have to be the bigger people, I guess, right? And we have to turn the other cheek or whatever. But it's hard. It's very hard. It's very difficult. And I've been struggling with that. I've been struggling with some dark thoughts. Some dark thoughts there. But we'll try to let it go. So, what's going on, everyone? Crunchy B-roll says, really over men that are false. That's awesome. What? Oh, authority over men that are false. Yeah, I think women have authority over men that are false teachers. Daniel Killed says, I feel like a failure because of my flesh. I think we can all relate to that. All of us Christians can relate to that because we know God's standard for us. We know what God expects of us, and yet we all fall short. And so far, I haven't found a Christian denomination where people aren't falling short. The work salvationists, they like to claim that they have everything all together. They have everything worked out, and they make you feel bad. They judge you for your sins, and they condemn you for your sins. And then when you closely examine them, it's like not even they, the people who say that you have to repent of all of your sins in order to go to heaven. It's like not even they have actually stopped sinning. So I think it's something that all Christians can relate to, that we all fall short of God's standard for us. And I heard a quote from John Zerka, and I don't know how much I like Zerka because, well, if you guys know who Zerka is, you know why I don't like him. But I heard a quote from John Zerka, and he basically said, don't beat yourself up when you fall into sin. Don't treat yourself with this utter hatred, this utter despair, because when you treat yourself with utter despair and this kind of almost self-harm, self-hatred kind of thing that a lot of people tend to do when they fall into sin, you're actually doubting God, and you're doubting God's ability to forgive you, God's ability to love you. You're doubting God, and you're basically slandering God or blaspheming God. And I thought that was pretty interesting. That was shared to me by Redeemed Louie in the chat. Crunchy B-roll says, if you have knowledge to give advice. Buckwater says, just know that everyone struggles forever. Yeah, I mean, that is life. And even the wisest man in the world, the richest man, the man who had the most women, the most success, King Solomon, he said that life is just meaningless suffering. And so if you want to take advice from anyone, take advice from him. Daniel Killed is listing out his sins. Wrath, I have a really hard time with wrath. I get you. Crunchy B-roll says, Jesus says if someone sins against you, to rebuke them. That's what I've been doing recently. I've gone out of my way to go and have a few. I've called people out on the ways that they've wronged me. And I've been making a decision in my life. I've made a decision in my life that I'm gonna hold people to a higher standard. If people want to, and when I say that, when I say hold people to a higher standard, I'm not talking about like I'm gonna act like I'm better than everyone else and you have to like impress me or something. No, okay, I'm a real nigga, okay, I'm a real human being, okay, and I'm open. If anyone wants to talk to me about anything, you guys can hit me up. But I want to hold people to a higher standard of morality and a higher standard of kindness, because I'm just I'm tired of people mistreating me. I'm tired of people mistreating my friends. I'm tired of people. I'm just sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of the vitriol and the hatred, right? Because I'm here, I'm trying to preach love, I'm trying to preach, kindness, friendship, de-escalation, and so I'm gonna start holding people to a higher standard. And I'm not gonna talk to people who number one, they associate with people who have threatened my life and have advocated for my suicide. And if you're still out here supporting people who have in recent memory advocated for my suicide, I'm not going to continue to be friends with you. So, and if you're gonna start a theological debate with me and then just like accuse me of things, just like with this accusatory bashing people over the head with the moral club, I'm not gonna interact with you, okay? I'm making this decision because you wanna I wanna foster like a different way of looking at things. I think I saw a tweet that someone left about my refusal to debate Pine Sap, and they basically said they quoted me how I was saying that salvation is such an important issue, and so I don't want to like leave it up to some stupid debate. And I could have explained myself better. And what I meant by that, what I meant when I said that, was that I see with a lot of debates about salvation, a lot of theological debates and philosophical debates and debates on what is moral, what is right, and what is wrong. There isn't this truth seeking, we're gonna like actually discuss this and get into like the details and what is right, what is wrong, why is this true, can we show evidence that this is true, does this logically flow, questioning people. There's not a lot of this. It's just a lot of, you're evil, you're evil, you're evil, I have to kill you now. There's a lot of this defensiveness. I see this with a lot of people. I've been getting into a lot of theological debates on my Discord server, and let me post a link to the Discord server. But I've been getting a lot of debates on my Discord server, and I think it's important to have theological discussion and theological debate. But I've noticed that as I'm asking people to kind of elaborate on their positions and I'm asking them questions about their positions, that they get all defensive and they start like wanting to accuse you of being a heretic. They want to like kick you out of free grace community. Recently we had this little strife between a few brothers that are YouTubers, Fuego and a few others. I won't I won't name the other ones because I don't want to be in their ire. But we had this little dispute going on here, and a lot of these people were like, "Oh, this guy's not in the free grace community anymore. This guy's not free grace. This guy's not saved." Um, and this needs to stop. This needs to stop. Okay. And as Christians, right, we're called to love our neighbors as ourselves, but we're also given a special commandment by Jesus, which is to love our fellow brethren in Christ above others. That's interesting. So love your neighbor as yourself, but then like you're supposed to especially love your brothers in Christ. And I don't know what's going on with my hair, man. So if a brother in Christ is asking you about your positions on something, and we're discussing like what is the truth about any given issue, I don't know, I'm just sick of this whole like wanting to destroy people's lives over this. I'm sick of this whole wanting to enact violence upon people kind of slant that a lot of people have. I don't know. These are just things that I'm thinking about. These are just the things that have been on my mind. I don't know. These are not like fully fleshed out thoughts, so maybe I shouldn't be airing them. I'm just kind of spewing. I'm kind of spewing out here. But hopefully you guys are getting something out of it. But what's going on here? Just wait for God to punish you himself instead of beating yourself up. Real, very true. Akenji says, I deleted League 2 weeks ago, League of Legends 2 weeks ago, and I feel a lot better. That's very based. Let's go. What's up, Tricon? Crunchy B-Roll says, be careful when rebuking others. Sometimes it's better to turn the other cheek. Use discernment. Proverbs says it's better a reprimand than a flattering tongue. Buckwater says, just do like Nick Rochefort does when if someone is bad to you, just immediately cease interacting with them. That's the plan. Free Grace Sis says, boundaries, they're needed. Base. Daniel Cold says, sometimes you even need to set boundaries on yourself for your own sake. Very true. So I've kind of, been in a mood to analyze videos and analyze different people's philosophies. Last week, we did a live stream talking about this woman, this lost, confused, unstable woman. And when I say unstable, I'm using it in the sense that I believe it is Colossians uses it. Not sure. I think it's Colossians. Where it talks about how people are blown around in the wind from one doctrine to another, from one religious system to another. So there was this video that's pretty popular. It had like 383,000 views on YouTube. And so we reviewed this. The stream kind of went out while I was streaming. So the VOD's on Rumble, the full stream. If you guys missed it and you guys want to watch it, it's on Rumble. And we kind of analyzed her life philosophy, how she got to where she was, why she made these decisions. And I thought it was pretty interesting, and I got a lot out of it. And I think I got a deeper understanding of how people fall into heresy. And what we learned from that stream was that the way people fall into heresy, especially like this like deep, like crazy, insane heresy, even when they were previously free gracers, because this woman was a free gracer that got led astray, is you have a lot of compounding factors. One of these things is child abuse. So you have child abuse. She had Christian parents who were abusive, who yelled at her and shamed her using Christianity. And so she fell away from Christianity, fell into a lifestyle of sin, wanted to get out of sin, and turned back to Christ, because that's what she was raised as, and basically started latching on to these different authority figures in the church. And the authority figures were, you know, lukewarm Christians who were just kind of like cultural Christians, just doing whatever was culturally relevant at the time. And so she's just kind of latching on to whatever these authority figures say rather than latching on to the Word of God. And so she's studying the Bible, but never once does she like actually open the Word of God and just read verbatim what it has to say. Instead, it's always interpreting it through the lens of what someone else's, you know, version, whatever someone else's belief systems are, rather than actually reading the Word of God. And so that was pretty interesting. And a lot of people enjoyed it. People were watching it even through the buffering and lagging and the stream just cutting out from the storm that I was going through at the time. And so today I have another YouTuber that I want to kind of analyze. Okay, I kind of want to analysis them. I want to analysis them. What the fuck am I talking about? I want to analyze them and kind of understand their philosophy. And so this guy's a little unorthodox. Today we're not going to be analyzing a religious person. We're going to be analyzing, I guess, maybe we want to call them a philosopher, some kind of red pill guru kind of guy. Although I don't know if I want to call him a guru, okay? But the guy that we're going to be looking at today is this guy. His name is Kendall Hargens. All right, so this is Kendall Hargens. And Kendall Hargens, he's a true Aryan. You see this right here? He's got blonde hair, blue eyes. He'd be Hitler's strongest soldier. Hitler's strongest soldier. So oh gosh, not red pill. But yeah, this guy is I don't know if he's really a red pillar, because the guy kind of seems like a little liberal, a little queer, There's a little bit of a left wing slant to this guy. I support BLM. I support the LGBT community. Kind of slant to this guy. So I'm not exactly sure where he stands, but so Kendall Hargens, to just give you guys a little bit of background. I mean, let's just look at his thing here. So his about section says, maximizing my potential while helping you maximize yours. And he has a Twitter. Let's look at his Twitter here, because I'm interested to see what he's got going on his Twitter. His pinned tweet here is, there's a significant difference between the athlete and blah, blah, blah. So he's really big into working out. He's a little bit of a bodybuilder. He's got his physique here. He's got his physique here posted in his profile picture. He's got this painting by Michelangelo, I believe. It's Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel of Adam and Eve and God. Yeah, Adam and Eve and God. So this guy, he's a little bit religious. He's got this Latin phrase here, which I'm assuming translates to build the body, conquer the mind, elevate the spirit. So this guy's pretty interesting. And so I saw this video of him, and a lot of my friends, they say that they've seen the same video too. And it's this video right here. It's called Run from Comfort Like Your Life Depends on It. So this video has 17,000 views. So this is like his first big viral video that he's posted on YouTube. It's got 1,000 likes. It's got 199 comments. I watched this video because I saw this guy and I was like, let's hear what he has to say. I kind of felt like the title was a little bit brain dead, and this guy kind of looks like a crackhead in his car. So I was like, let's give it a shot. Let's see what he has to say. And upon my first impressions watching this video, I thought that pretty much everything he had to say was like brain dead. Not gonna lie. But I want to kind of give a deeper analysis here and kind of go through his videos. And I have another video that he posted a little more recently that I want to watch as well in addition to this one. And there's some good content here. There's some good content. I think we're going to get some commentary and some insight into the kind of the mindset of your average Zoomer who's maybe like consuming Andrew Tate content, who's maybe consuming like Joe Rogan content. What's that black guy that looks like Frozone? He's always like, "Stay hard!" That guy. I don't even know his name. What is this guy's name, dude? Do you guys know what his name is? Chat, what's his name? The guy, David Goggins. The guy looks like Frozen from The Incredibles. But the kind of guy that like watches David Goggins was like, "Stay hard! I run 5 miles. I run 20 miles a day. Stay hard." I ruined all the cartilage in my knees. I look like a feral ghoul from Fallout. Stay hard. The kind of guy who's like consuming this content, watching TikToks about self-improvements, watching Sam Sulek and all this shit, and like what does this do to someone? What happens to someone who consumes this content, and that's like their only exposure to moral philosophy is like David Goggins, Joe Rogan, and like and Andrew Tate? Like what will happen to a person when that's all the moral philosophy that they have? So let's get into this. Let me put my headphones on and let's listen to him. Let's see what's going on.
All right, so this is going to be probably, I will call it, I guess, my first spontaneous video.
So let's do like a physiognomy check here, because we're big believers in physiognomy. For those of you that don't know what physiognomy is, I'm mispronouncing it. Physiognomy. It is it's technically a Greek philosophy, so I don't know how much stock you want to put into it because it came up by pagans, but there's some truth to it. And so what physiognomy is it's the belief that you can tell the character of a person based on how they look, right? You can tell the character of a person, what kind of sins they may be indulging in based on the way they look. Okay? So let me get you guys a bigger view here, a little bit of a bigger view here. So this guy, looking at him, so
this is going to be
he's got a thin neck. He's got a thin neck for one. Thin neck. He's got thin shoulders here. Now, when I see his profile picture, you know, he looks like he's got some muscle to him here. Although, you know, looking at this, he is a little thin. He's a little malnourished. And facially, right, like facially, this guy does look like he's malnourished a little bit. He's got like kind of this Auschwitz looking face. Like, I'm not trying to insult him, okay? Okay? Like, we're just genuinely analyzing like what kind of person he is. The goal here is not to like say, "Oh, this guy's ugly, this guy's creepy." No, I'm not trying to do that, okay? Listen, the guy can have solid advice, and I don't think he's necessarily a bad looking guy, right? He's got some desirable features, right? We're just analyzing what he looks like, okay? And trying to discern some things about his personality. Does that make sense? So he's kind of got like this Auschwitz-y looking look to him. He's kind of got like these sunken in cheeks. And this guy, from what I understand, he's a looks maxer, and I've seen like a video of him where he's doing like all this facial treatment, and so like there's in the beauty community, in the male modeling community, there's this there is kind of this aura of like, oh, having cheeks that aren't filled out, like having like these sunken in, looking like you have like no body weight on you whatsoever kind of face, You know, these like this sunken in face, that's like desirable. And so I wonder, because he has done some cosmetic, he's done some cosmetic stuff to his body, to his face, to make his face look better. Whether this is from like malnourishment, if this is from drug use, or if this is just like from the skincare routines and shit, and the shit that he's done, the cosmetic stuff he's done to his face. Now you look at his nose right here. You look at his nostril. I've seen a few people that have a nose like that. And pretty much the only people I've seen that have a nose like that, and I might be wrong. Again, you guys tell me what you guys think in the chat if you think I'm a little bit off base here. But people who have a nose like this are typically snorting cocaine. Now, I know this for, I want to say a fact, okay? I can't like say for sure this is a fact, right? But I know this because back about a year or two ago, like 2021, I was in a band, okay? I was in a band. This was like they were like kind of like wanted to be like Motley Crue, okay? They wanted to be like a metal band. And they hired me and another guy that was in my band, because my band that I had in this studio here, you know, you guys have probably seen the drum set. You guys see the guitar over here, the out-of-tune guitar right here, and the speaker, obviously. So like I had a band, and we went and basically tried to combine bands, because my band had fallen apart and their band was looking for a singer and a lead guitarist, okay? So we went and we joined up with their band, and their whole band was all addicted to coke, and they all like did coke. They wore like a little necklace kind of like this, but instead it was a little teeny tiny spoon, and they used that teeny tiny spoon to like measure out like cocaine, and they'd snort it. And what happens to coke users is, because coke is a solid, you know, powder, solid objects going through your nasal cavity, is it does damage to your nasal cavity. So what happens to your nasal cavity is, as more and more trauma is given to your nasal cavity, your nostrils, the outer edges of your nostrils, start to kind of sink in and like get a little weird. Like you start to get like a thin nose. You start to get a thin nose at the bottom. And the only people I've really seen that kind of nose on is people that are doing coke. I've never seen someone with like this looking nose that's like a straight edge, you know. And I don't know, okay, like I don't want to imply anything about this guy. Maybe I'm falsely accusing him. We're just analyzing his looks here. We're just analyzing the way he looks here to try and maybe discern a little bit about him. So then something else to notice here is,
we'll call it,
I don't know, maybe I'm just looking too hard into this, but he does look like he's got a little bit of darkness, sunken inness. He's got some bags under his eyes a little bit. So this guy's a little underslept. And he kind of has this look of constant bewilderment on him, I've noticed from watching his videos. So that leads me to want to say that maybe he is actually doing crack. Oh my gosh, but Crunchy B-roll says his face looks gaunt, but so I don't know. This is my analysis on his physiognomy. Let me take a little sip here. Let me see what you guys think about this. So Crunchy B-roll says libertarian looking. Buckwater says a bit fruity. Yeah, I would say so. Daniel Kjold says, have y'all seen that one Geico commercial with Pinocchio? That's what this guy kind of reminds me of. Buckwater says he wants to be the hardest of hard men, and he wants to be with these men. What are you calling David Goggins a homo? I mean, he joined the military. What do you think? Signed Your Free Grace Sis says they'll get very angry and hate women. That is what happens in the red pill community. Yes. Hating women is cringe. Well, that's not true. Hating women is based, but there is a thing here though that we have to understand that women undergo propagandization, they undergo child abuse, and they're highly sexualized by the society. And so when we see women start turning tricks, getting on OnlyFans, you gotta like have some compassion and some empathy to understand where they're coming from and how they turned out this way, Buckwater says these type of dudes will never tell you to get good at fighting with their bird neck. Birds don't fight, they flight. They've never been in a fight. Crunchy B-Roll says they got the neck to peck. He wants to look chiseled. Moonlight Artist says before taking roids, face on the guy. Before taking roids. Maybe. I don't know. So, I mean, the guy's got a pretty good physique under this hoodie, although you can't really tell while he's wearing a hoodie, and I don't know. Maybe he's lost his physique. Maybe he's gotten sick or something. But he just looks a little like sick, and I don't know. These are just things that I'm noticing about him. So, without further ado, let's actually get into the video now. Oh. Let me unmute him.
This is going to be probably, I will call it, I guess, my first spontaneous video. And by spontaneous, I just mean I don't have any idea what I'm going to title this video. I don't know what exactly I'm all going to talk about, but there are some things that I just feel like I have to say. I don't know how it all fits together, but the main thing that I have just seen be a theme in my life right now, just, not just right now, but for a long time, is running from comfort like your life depends on it. And the reason I think this is just so important is because there is absolutely nothing good that comes from being in your comfort zone. I don't really even care what it is. If it's in the gym and you're just comfortable doing a certain exercise for a certain amount of reps, for a certain amount of sets, or, maybe I'm trying to think of some good examples. But the ones that have been just most prominent in my life have just been little things that, might not be my first instinct to do. Just like things that scare me a little bit. I don't know, maybe it's just like posting like a video like this, or doing some sort of like sparring match in the boxing gym. I don't know. But
so you guys are wrong. This guy does a little bit of fighting. He does a little bit of fighting here.
When I look at people who are living miserable lives in their early or late 40s, 50s, 60s, these lives are byproducts of comfort. Because I don't think they might not realize it, but it was comfortable to settle. It's comfortable to settle. It's comfortable to sit on your couch and do nothing. It's comfortable to just settle for that, average 9-to-5 job that you don't like, but it pays the bills. It's comfortable to settle for that, that partner, that boyfriend or girlfriend who treats you okay, but not exactly what you deserve.
Yeah, I don't like what he's saying here, right? So, right off the bat, this guy's very confused, and, maybe we can chalk this up that he's just, new to public speaking, and he doesn't really know where he wants to go. But he kind of seems like very confused. He's looking around, and I've done that before because it is a little uncomfortable to film in public like this, where you're sitting in your car. But and then the guy is making assertions about people and about 40, 50-year-old boomers and Gen Xers that don't have very much empathy to them. There's not a lot of empathy here for the plight of Gen Xers, because he's talking about Gen Xers. He's really talking about his parents, right? This guy's talking about his parents. This guy's about my age. He's 23. He's a year older than me. And the guy is basically talking about his parents right now, 40, 50-year-olds. Who is that? You know, who is that? That's his parents. So he's talking about mommy and daddy. He's talking about mommy and daddy. And he's not having a lot of empathy towards the stuff that they've gone through in their childhoods. He's not having empathy for the way the world is, the declining economic standards of the world, things like that. They're just not talking about that, not thinking about this. Chalking up, their unhappiness to complacency. And, like, I mean, like, there's truth to that. Like, I guess, like, there is a lot of complacency in the world. Like, a lot of boomers are just kind of like, and Gen Xers don't really care about improving the world. They just kind of sit around on the TV and they just watch the TV all day, right? And they wave their fists, they rage at the television, but they don't actually do anything about it. So, like, there's some truth there. There's a little bit of truth there. But I just think, like, that's, like, very reductive and, like, dismissive to just go, like, well, the reason why they're feeling this way, the reason why they're unhappy, the reason why people are as a whole living unhappy lives is just because, like, oh, they're too comfortable. They're too comfortable. It's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? They're too comfortable. Because like with Gen X, there was a lot of child abuse there, and even today there's a lot of child abuse. There's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of screaming at children. There's a lot of hitting kids. And then people like to say, oh, the reason why the younger generations are doing poorly is because they didn't have to live through the same hardships and same bad conditions that we did. But it's like, when you look at the most successful generations that have made the most money, who have had a higher wealth than their parents, it's the boomers. And when you look at the boomers, which had their teenage years in the 50s and 60s, the boomers had very easy lives. They had a lot of economic, like, the economy is very good. They had very easy jobs. They could, like, right out of college, just go out and buy a home and things like that. So they actually had a lot of things going easy for them. But they, there's always just, like, kind of like this just base assumption. And I don't know where this assumption comes from. Maybe it comes from, like, the whole Greek philosopher, hard times make strong men make good times make weak men make hard times. But it's like, these people ruined the economy. They voted Jays into power. The economy is dog shit and terrible, even back in, like, the 90s and 80s, and there was mass violence, mass drug use, and all kinds of problems, a lot of child abuse, and CIA propaganda psyops going on against the populace. And rather than, like, blaming the wrongdoers that are victimizing your children, blaming the wrongdoers that are victimizing their children, they blame their children for falling for it, which is sick and twisted, and a lot of boomers, because the boomers are the people that gave birth to the Gen Xers. A lot of boomers, they had this kind of, like, perspective on their children, that their children were basically leeching off of their wealth and leeching off of their success. And so they basically treated their children, rather than as their replacements, they treated their children as their slaves, basically. And treated their children in like this way where like my child should provide for me. My child needs to take care of me. I'm going to make my kid pay rent to me, you know, which is sick and twisted in my opinion. Like if I had kids, I'd never make them pay rent to me because they're supposed to replace me, you know. They're my replacements. I'm only going to be here for another 60 years. By the time I have kids, I'm only going to be here for another, you know, 50 maybe, right? So, you know, they're going to replace you. You're not going to be here. What are you going to do with all your money? You need to give all. But instead it's like, let me rob my children of their wealth to make myself more wealthy. And so a lot of Gen Xers have ended up living in a situation where they have to work paycheck to paycheck to be barely able to scrape by because their parents showed no nepotism towards them, showed no care or love towards them or affection towards them, and, you know, just kind of beat them down beat down your own children, beat down your own children, man. That's crazy. Just that phrase is crazy. Beat down your own children. But that's what they did. And so a lot of Gen Xers have just ended up going nowhere in life. Most of the Gen Xers that I know, other than my parents, are like addicted to drugs, strung out, fucked up people, most of them. So it's just like saying that, oh, the reason why they're there is just because they live comfortable lives. They had too much comfort in their lives. It's not true. You have to have a little bit more compassion on people. You got to have a little bit more empathy for why people are the way they are. It's like, how many Gen Xers have you talked to? You know, since you're gonna talk shit about Gen Xers, like you're making assumptions about their lives. Have you talked to Gen Xers? Have you like asked them about their life stories or anything like that? Like you're just like assuming, you're dismissing their issues, you're dismissing their problems and just assuming the solution. There's this song by a Gen X band. It's called the Gen X band is Suicidal Tendencies. They have a song called Nobody Hears, which I don't know, there's just a lyric there that just came to my mind. And the lyric is you subtracted my feelings from this equation. You've shaped my problems to your perfection, and you've subtracted my feelings from this equation. And that's what a lot of people have this tendency to do. Everyone has this tendency in their lives, in their personal relationships, and in their impersonal relationships, formal relationships. They have this tendency to look at people's problems, look at their shortcomings, look at their failures, and shape the way they got there to their own, just like presuppositions and their own assumptions, and they just subtract the person's own inner life from the equation. They subtract that person's history from the equation. Doesn't matter to them. They just want to like enforce their own little worldview, their own little philosophy onto others, you know, whatever their own pet ideology is, rather than seeking the truth, rather than seeking the truth of the situation. Why are they here? Why do they have these problems? So that the problems can be solved. Rather than living in reality and saying, this is the reality of the situation, these are the problems, and then just solving the problems. Everyone wants to have their little ideology, you know, everyone wants to have their little, like fan fiction LARP is what it is. Fan fiction LARP that they want to like enforce on the world, you know, and it's no good. It's no good. Like the stream, like Crunchy B-Roll says in the chat. Buckwater says he fights like Hassan Piker. Rivalstein says, oh great, one of these videos. Buckwater says Gen X had a huge number of absent parents. And yeah, boomers started at the top of the world and got caught in Woodstock and feely good nonsense. Yeah, and they're very like, we made it on our own, so will you. And that's their excuse not to help their family. News start stat came out that shows 43% of boomers have no money for retirement. Country Bureau says some parents can't afford the bills, so they make their kid pay the rent. Well, that's fucked up. You're supposed to provide for your children. Your children aren't supposed to provide for you. Your children are your replacements. Buckwater says, yeah, they can't afford them because they're retarded. Daniel Kilt says suicidal tendencies mentioned. Rah. Yeah, they're a pretty good band. They're a little satanic, so I don't know how much I like them, but they're a good band, and I like some of their songs. Let's keep watching.
When I was 18, 19 years old, I was a completely different person than I am right now. And it's kind of mind-blowing because financially, I'm pretty similar. I was broke at that age. I'm pretty broke right now. I'll be straight up. I don't want to come out here and say that like I'm doing super well for myself financially, because I'm not. And it's not that I couldn't. There's something that has been just in my mind for a long time. When you start getting into the world of online business and just like entrepreneurship and making money in general, you have all these like business models thrown at you. It's like,
so this guy is an entrepreneur. He's into being an entrepreneur. He's into doing online business. Let's back that up. I missed it a little bit.
The world of online business and just like entrepreneur, there's something that has been just in my mind for a long time. When you start getting into the world of online business and just like entrepreneurship and making money in general.
So this guy's doing online business, entrepreneurship, and he's broke. So he's not successful. He's not being successful at being an entrepreneur, and he's not being successful at doing online business. So this guy's going to give us business advice from, I'm pretty sure, from where it seems like this conversation's going. He's going to give us business advice, but he hasn't like had some kind of financial success, you know. But let's see.
You have all these like business models thrown at you. It's like there's the drop shipping, there's a SMMA, there's like just coaching, there's all sorts of different stuff. Like most people, I've tried a lot of it. Like I even still have like a.
Now that's interesting. He says, like most people, I've tried a lot of it. Like most people, I've tried a lot of it. So is this guy like confusing himself for the world right now, or does he like actually have experience with people to know that most people have tried these things? Because like personally, I'm not really doing, I mean, I guess I'm technically doing a little bit of online business with my merch store. By the way, you know, go to URFRIENDLYHOOD.com/shop, buy some of my merch. But you know, like, so like I haven't done life coaching, you know. And yeah, I don't think that there's a lot of people out here like doing that. I think it's very rare that anyone is being an entrepreneur whatsoever. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You guys tell me in the chat, have you tried to be an entrepreneur? Have you done drop shipping? You know, like up until about like, I don't know, 5 days ago, I didn't even know what the fuck drop shipping was. I literally don't know what drop shipping is. I just learned recently what drop shipping was. I made that post on my Instagram. That was just a joke, okay? I don't make 10 figures off of drop shipping, okay? It's a meme. It's a meme. It's a joke. But but you know, so like I've never done that. So I feel like this guy is like confusing himself for the world here. And I don't know, maybe he just knows different people than I do, but I think he's confusing himself for the world. And the question is, where does he get this idea that like everyone is doing drop shipping, or everyone is trying to be an online entrepreneur, everyone is doing this, you know? Like everyone has, like that's just like everyone's just doing that. Like like just assuming that that's just like a universal principle or something. But like, you know, one has to question why does he think that? Why does this guy think that everyone's doing that? So I'd have to figure that the reason he thinks that is because he's consuming a lot of content where he sees people constantly talking about drop shipping. He gets a lot of exposure drop shipping material, online entrepreneur, Gary Vaynerchuk type of shit. And so he's convinced like this is like the general ethos of society, right?
A small drop shipping store that still makes a little bit of money. I don't really ever put too much time into it, but I have that, and I've done all the other things. I had a coaching business that I started on. I ran through Twitter.
Okay, no, okay, listen to this. I was about to take a drink, but I can't take a drink. We gotta pay attention to here. Listen to this.
Store that still makes.
So he's talking about his financial failures, his business failures here. That's what he's talking about right now. And he mentions two of his businesses that he started. He did a drop shipping thing, which for those of you that don't know what drop shipping is, let me tell you what drop shipping is. So drop shipping is a totally fake business, okay? It's a totally just completely fake business. And what it is, okay, what drop shipping is where so there's two online stores that are really big. There's Amazon. Amazon is very big in the Western world. Then in the Eastern world, there's Alibaba. Okay, and Alibaba is like the Chinese, South American, third world version of Amazon, okay? And basically what drop shipping is you buy stuff from Alibaba, the cheap third world version of Amazon, where everything's like 10 times, 1,000 times cheaper. And then you resell the Alibaba shit on Amazon for like 20% markup. Now, here's the thing, right? That would technically be a retail store. But the thing is with drop shipping is you don't actually have to go buy the products, make the products, store the products in your store or anything. Instead, Alibaba will ship the products for you to the customer. Alibaba will ship those products for you to the Amazon warehouse, and Amazon will ship it to the customer. And you're getting paid just for reselling shit from one online store to another. That's drop shipping. That's what drop shipping is. And it's a totally fake business, right? It's just like this satanic infinite money glitch spell that a lot of these online Satanists, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a high-level Jewish Kabbalist, and he's out here promoting that kids sell their soul to the devil. Don't actually like learn a trade. Don't actually put any kind of like actual work into something. Just manipulate the system into getting free money for nothing, right? Like this is the type of shit that they're doing. And so he has a store where he's literally just doing shit for nothing. He's making money for literally doing nothing. For literally doing nothing. He's making money for doing nothing. Doing nothing. He's still not successful at it. He's still not successful at it. Which tells us like about his character. It's like this guy's going to tell us about hard work. He's going to tell us about hard work. He's going to tell us about, not being complacent and running from comfort. But it's like, that's some comfy cush shit right there. Your job is just to pay Alibaba to sell shit on Amazon for you. Like... That's insane. And the guy's going to tell us about hard work, about running from comfort like your life depends on it.
Makes a little bit of money. I don't really ever put too much time into it, but I have that, and I've done all the other things. I had a coaching business that I started on. I had a coaching business that I started. I ran through Twitter. And, if I was still trying to build that up, I'd probably would be in a situation right now where I could, be financially free, as they call it. But
so like this guy's talking about how we need to run from comfort and we need to like, do like radical self-improvement. But like what radical self-improvement is this guy actually doing? Like, where is the hard work that this guy's actually putting in? Like genuinely, like I'm asking this as a genuine question, because like, what is his job? What is his actual like career background here? Right? And obviously, like, I'm sure that he must have some kind of job outside of drop shipping, outside of coaching. But like, he's talking about here, I'm doing drop shipping. Okay. I'm doing drop shipping. And then he's talking about how I'm doing life coaching. What is he doing? He's coaching, online coaching. So I doubt that that's talking about like bodybuilding, being like a bodybuilder coach, or coaching for like, like a football team, right? No, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about life coaching, giving people life advice. So basically like being like a therapist for people. So he's basically an untrained therapist. He's an untrained counselor who's only like maybe 23, as far as I'm aware. He's like 23. The guy's 23, no life experience, no philosophy, failing at like any entrepreneurship, and is basically lying to people. That was one of his career paths that he tried to pick, is lying to people online to try and get them to pay him money, acting as though he has all this wisdom and all this, life advice to give them about how to get rich quick. And if you pay me $900 a month, if you pay me $10K a month, I'll give you all the secrets to getting rich quick, It's like, man, $900 per call. $900 per call. I mean, I don't know what his rates are, because as far as I know, the coaching business doesn't exist. But like, this is just interesting. Buckwater says entrepreneur is the new buzzword for stupid people to act like they're Scott Adams. I don't even know who Scott Adams is, not gonna lie. Crunchy B-Roll says, I think he's comparing himself with his community. A lot of people do, however, do some kind of investments into stocks or Bitcoin or something. Akenji says, put some stocks into GameStop and tell your boys to put some stocks into GameStop. Casino glitch on the stock market. Country B-Roll says, what should this kid do to make money? Actually develop some kind of skill. Actually develop some kind of skill. Alright, so listen, am I like rich? Okay, no, I'm not rich. So I'm not the right person to ask for financial advice. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm giving moral advice. Okay, I mean, we're giving moral advice. But so I've worked a few jobs, okay, and the jobs that I have worked are like actual jobs, okay, and I've made like a significant amount of money doing those jobs. And I recommend to people that they should actually like get a real job. Now, I'm not working a real job right now because I'm kind of just figuring out what direction I want to go in my life. So yeah, I'm still figuring out what direction I want to go in. But I do know from working that you can take a lot more of a pride in yourself. You can take a lot more of you can feel better about yourself. You can feel better when you go to sleep at night, when you are actually providing some kind of value to the world. So, and we're talking about moral advice right now. We're not talking about financial advice, okay? And the advice that I would give people is, you want to pick a job that's actually just useful. Just pick something that your community needs, something that people need, and then supply the need, And it's hard right now because we have so much regulation, we have so much crap in the way of doing that. but just service people's needs. That is capitalism. That's moral, and that's virtuous when you service people's needs and you sell your labor for money. And the thing is, with like what he's doing, he's not really doing that. He's not doing that. And that's real entrepreneurship, by the way. Real entrepreneurship is where you see people have needs. People have some kind of need in your community, and then you supply that need to them. That's entrepreneurship right there. That's what entrepreneurship is. If you want to be an entrepreneur, look at what people need and give them what they need. It's entrepreneurship. But so this guy's not doing that. He's basically trying to like leech off of people's stupidity. You know, I'm going to start a coaching business. Well, what is a coaching business, right? It's like this guy's retarded, is lost in life, and I'm going to convince him to pay me. I'm going to hustle him. I'm going to rob him. I'm going to fleece him of what little wealth he has because he's a stupid idiot, and then give him shitty advice because I don't even know how to make myself successful. You know, like that's kind of what he's doing here. So listen, like now I can say this. Am I rich? No. I'm not rich by any means. I mean, I might look like I have a nice set here. Okay, but basically this set was is basically just like put together from shit I trash picked, basically. Or like a lot of my guitars are trash picked guitars, or stuff I got as, you know, presents, and a lot of the, and then a little bit of the stuff that I have in here is stuff I worked for. Like I worked for this computer that I have. I've worked for a few of the things in here. But so, you know, I'm just cobbling together like, you know, trash basically, you know. To be honest with you, okay? So this might look nice, but I'm filming in a barn right now. Okay, I'm filming in a barn, in a falling apart, rotting barn that I've stapled up some soundproofing foam on. You know, so I'm not rich. Okay, so you know, I just want you guys to understand. Like, I'm not like trying to say like I'm some financial guru here, but just because I'm not a financial guru, I think I have room to give advice here because I've made a lot of money, and my parents have even told me at some points that they were amazed by how much money I made, that I had been making more money than like my dad was making, you know. So like I've made money before, and I've done and I've been able to make frugal financial decisions. I'm not giving financial advice though, okay? But I've been able to make frugal financial decisions. So I know what I'm talking about when I say this stuff, and I've worked jobs that actually take work, that actually need skill in order to perform them, you know. So I'm just saying, like, I'm basically just trying to like put my credibility on the table, like why I would have credible advice. And I think it's very harmful. It's very harmful to give advice when you don't know what you're talking about. And I used to do that. I used to do that on my channel before I became a Christian. I stopped doing that after I became a Christian. But before I became a Christian, I would do that. But it's very harmful to give advice when you don't know what you're talking about, because when you give advice when you don't know what you're talking about, and you're not clear about your success, and you're not clear about these things, and you're not clear about your shortcomings, you are then responsible for ruining people's lives with your shitty decisions that you advise people to do. You're responsible for that. Morally, in the eyes of God, you're responsible for that. And so this guy wants to start a life coaching business when he has no experience, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's going to be more morally responsible and held accountable to God because he's giving people crappy advice. Thank God he didn't go anywhere with that, with his life coaching business, you know. But it's like, it's just crazy. And why does he think that he can start a life coaching business? You know, why the hell does he think he can start a life coaching business with no experience, with no life experience, no nothing? What, why, why do you think you can start a life coaching business? It's like, oh, well, I watched Gary Vaynerchuk, and that's what Gary Vaynerchuk told me to do. Oh, I watch Andrew Tate, and that's what Andrew Tate does. He has his Hustlers University. I should do that. You know, it's like, that's what it is, though. That's what it is. This guy's wrote self-improvement books. Let me pull this up here. Dude, this guy's wrote books on self-improvement. Project Phoenix Game of Personal Evolution, 8-week power program, 12-week holistic ascension program, Sleeper's Odyssey, a holistic guide to transformative sleep. You know, like what is this, dude? What is this? Ever get the sense that you're a spectator in your own life, aimlessly drifting and you can't seem to find a way out? Or you might know that certain things you do each day are holding you back and stopping them feels impossible. Or maybe you're stuck in place and you don't know where to turn. Believe me, I've walked in those shoes. You've always had ambitious dreams. You've imagined yourself thriving, not just existing. But those addictive patterns hold you back from changing you to a version of yourself you're desperate to outgrow. It's a painful reality that too many of us face. Enter Project Phoenix, a self-paced journey that will recalibrate your entire existence. like this dude's literally claiming to have rewrote the Bible, right? That's what this is. Project Phoenix, this is the Bible. this nigga thinks that he's wrote the Bible, dude. This nigga thinks that he's wrote the book of Proverbs, Job, and Ecclesiastes. And it's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I don't even know what to think about that. Let's look at the chat here real quick. Rivalstein says, how old is this guy? He's probably like 23. From what I understand, he's like 23 or so. Akenji says $365 for the Minecraft server. Real. Pays $365. Send in those super chats. Are you appreciating the analysis? Are you gaining something from this analysis? Send me money. Give me value for the value that I give you. If you feel like you're getting some kind of value out of this, if this is going to help you, this is giving you any insights into maybe your personal flaws, then send me money as compensation. Rivalstein says go to trade school. I don't know. I don't know if I would recommend that because, you know, I went to trade school. Okay, I went to trade school, and I find I'll adjust myself, but I find that, you know, like doing trades is cool or whatever, but what I don't like about it is that that's kind of the in thing. When it's like every fucking YouTuber says, oh, you should get into trades. Every fucking YouTuber goes, you should become a plumber. It's like, I'm a little skeptical, you know, when every YouTuber is like, get into trades. But it's like, you know, I've done the trades. I was driving heavy machinery, and I was doing a bit of construction in my past. So I know about the trades, and I made like a decent amount of money, and it's not like the worst thing in the world to work doing that kind of stuff. But I just, you know, I don't know if it's the smartest move. I don't know if it's the smartest move when every single YouTuber is saying to do that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, listen, if you are interested in plumbing, if you're interested in construction, and do it, you know. But I would say, you know, just rather than just going along with whatever a random YouTuber online tells you to do, I would say better advice if you want to good direction to go start looking in, is look around your community and, say, what do people need here? What is my community, my local community lack? Okay? And we're not talking about like, oh, they lack a terrarium store where we sell terrariums in mason jars. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like some kind of like essential service that is not being provided by a local business, and try to provide that somehow, some way. That would be a good start to look at there. That's just my thoughts, and that's something that I'm looking into doing. I'm thinking of starting a business in my own personal life, and so I'm gonna look into that. I've been thinking about that. Buckwater says, I did trade school. It pays itself off in half a year, easy. Really pays itself off in 3 months, and financial aid programs exist. Very based. Very based. Signed Your Free Grace Sis says, don't downplay yourself. You still found it and put it all together. Country B-Roll says, vaguest thing ever. That literally said nothing. KJV, nah. Phoenix Project. KJV, nah. PP. American Creationist says, gonna start selling terrariums in mason jars. There's a store back where I used to live, in the farmer's market by where I used to live, literally selling that, and I saw it. It's some like hippie guy, some millennial hippie, not hippie, hipster, not hippie. If he was a hippie, that would be cool. No, he's a hipster, a millennial hipster. It's so gay, dude. It was the gayest store I ever walked into. And they had all these like fake I hate this chair, dude. This fucking chair, dude. And it's falling apart. Look at this shit. Look at this. Look at this. Look at what I have to put up with. Look at what I have to put up with. You wanna know why it's creaking? I just keep hearing creaking, that's why. But it's pissing me off. I'm like listening to the VODs. And all I hear is just the chair. I just hear that. It's pissing me off, dude. I'm about to go sicko mode and smash the chair. Do the rest of the stream standing up. But oh my gosh, dude. I had to get a new chair. I had to get a new chair. This one is past fixing. It's been repaired so many times that it won't be fixed anymore. Alright, let's keep watching.
Thing is, nothing that I tried with any of those business models or anything like that, nothing felt like it would be something I would do long term. And I could not even explain why I knew this or how I knew this. But it's like, even with somebody with no money, at a certain point, I would refuse to get involved in anything that I would not want to do as a long-term thing. Because I remember somebody talking about how important it is at the foundation of whatever you're building, how important it is to have a strong foundation. If that foundation is weak and you're not setting it up to go, the long haul, it's going to crash. It's going to topple over and it's going to fall probably a lot earlier than you thought. And so I still am like, I've been in this game, you want to call it. I've been trying to, make it somehow financial. I don't know. I've been trying to make my way in this like online business space for a couple of years now. Like August of 2022, summer 2022, I started a TikTok account, and it was primarily just supposed to be a gym talk. I don't know if you've seen those before, but like, just posting your physique, occasionally making like some talking videos and whatever. And I mean, eventually I grew it to like 14,000 followers, but I wasn't attracting the type of people that I really wanted to attract. It was people that went to the gym, yeah, but also just like people. I made some videos talking about how like situations with girls in the past and how like, oh, it was a bright light. How what ended up happening was I attracted the people who were younger, most likely, and, you know, didn't have the best luck with girls, and, you know, buy into the hoes ain't loyal type stuff. And just like those videos, like not even one, I guess it's.
So, and then this guy is also getting sucked into gynocentrism, hoo-ha worship as well. So this guy's a little bit of a fornicator, and he's like, he looks down on people who don't have success with women. It's like, why are you trying to get with girls at all, dude? Incel, let's go, incel movement. Don't even be getting with girls at all. That's cringe. But so now we've learned a little bit more about this guy. This guy's a little bit of a fornicator. This guy wants to get with girls. He's sleeping with girls, and he looks up to people that are like sleeping around. And he looks down upon people like me who says that sleeping around is bad and being a whore is bad.
More than a year ago, but like a little over a year ago, like my mindset has completely changed on so many different things. And it's actually insane. Like a video that I had on my TikTok account was like about how if you have to question if a girl likes you and she doesn't, which is true. But my mindset making this video was that if I get like ghosted or, you know, screwed over by a girl, it's like, it's not my fault, it's their fault, which cannot be further from the truth. And that's not the point of this video. But what I'm saying.
Wait, okay, let's hear that again. I accidentally paused it because I thought I was gonna interject, but he said something interesting here.
Or, you know, screwed over by a girl, it's like, it's not my fault, it's their fault, which cannot be further from the truth. And that's not the point of this video.
Yeah, right there what this guy said. I fucking hate this. I hate this mindset. Ah! I hate this. I fucking... Ah! Ah! I hate this. I hate this. I hate the Whatever podcast. I fucking hate Andrew Tate. I hate red pill people, okay? Like, I'm a red pillar, okay, but I'm a real red pillar, okay? I'm a real ass nigga, okay? I took the real red pill. You know what the real red pill is? Jesus Christ. Faith in Jesus Christ for salvation, no works, free grace. That's the red pill. Okay, that's the red pill. That's the real red pill. But listen, so but what I hate about the red pill community is that they claim to be like anti-feminist and they're like against the modern world. But the whole philosophy is all about worshiping pussy, worshiping vagina. That's the whole red pill community. And they're all about, oh, don't be a beta male. You know, but then it's like they go to the gym and they lift weights solely so that women will be attracted to them. They go through radical self-improvement solely to get women to sleep with them. And all this shit, man. All this shit. All over vagina. All over. Please, I need to put my penis in your... Ah! Ah! But it's real, okay? You guys are going, good grief. Nah, it's real, dude. It's fucking real, dude. Tell me it's not true. I hate it. And so, what he just said here is he just said, if a girl ghosts you, if a girl screws you over or something, that it's not their fault. It's actually your fault. And I just had a friend of mine recently. I won't name them. I won't go into too much detail, but a good friend of mine, a close friend of mine, he's a brother in Christ, been through a rough patch in his life. And his girlfriend recently cheated on him and left him for a man that was about the age of his father, of her father. They're both about our age, you know, they're like in their early 20s. and or most of us age. I know there's probably some older people in here, or younger people, but around my age, around my age, around my age. I know that I had to remember that, you know, I not to confuse myself with the world. They're around my age, okay, and this girl cheated on him and slept with a guy who's like 50, all right, like fucking 50 years old. And the guy, because he's been consuming all this red pill content, uh, you know, Andrew Tate, whatever podcast type shit, is blaming himself for his girlfriend cheating on him. Blaming himself for the betrayal. As though, and like saying like how I wasn't man enough. I wasn't man enough for her. As though like somehow cheating is justified. Adultery is just justified. If you're too much of a beta male, adultery is just justified. That's just how the world works, man. Ah! But jeez, bro. And that's what this guy just said right there. Your girlfriend cheats on you. It's your fault as a man that your girlfriend cheats on you because you're not muscular enough. You're not masculine enough. You don't do enough for her. And so she is justified in cheating on you. She's justified on betraying your trust. She's justified in breaking your marital vows because you're not masculine enough or whatever. And listen, right? Obviously, men should be masculine. It's a sin to be effeminate, right? It's a sin to be effeminate. But listen, the fact is we should not live our lives trying to please women as men. You shouldn't live your entire life and focus your entire life in every aspect of your being in trying to please a woman, right? You shouldn't lift weights to try and please women. You shouldn't try to develop yourself, radical self-improvement, in order to please women. Okay? And the fact is, like, if a woman wrongs you and does something immoral, it's not your fault as the man for not being man enough or not meeting her needs. The fact is that, like, if a woman does something wrong, it's still wrong. If a woman does something wrong, it is just as evil as if a man does something wrong. It's just as evil. It's just as wrong. And adultery should not be tolerated like this. And it's kind of horrific to see that, like, society at large, because we're talking about like right wingers. The left wing is fine with adultery, and even the right wing now is fine with adultery. Like, adultery is just somehow an acceptable thing. It's just an acceptable response to your partner not giving you the things that you want. Like, there's no compassion there, you know. Like, women should be compassionate towards men, and women should be compassionate towards you in your time of need, you know. And on the likewise, a man should be compassionate towards woman when the woman is struggling, you know, and not being their best selves. And I don't know, I gotta like think deeper on this, and I've been wanting to make a video on this, but it's like when someone wrongs you, don't blame yourself, you know. When someone wrongs you, when someone does something immoral to you, you are right to be angry at them. Like, you're right to be angry at them. Now, it is important to consider, you know, did I do something wrong? Did they actually wrong me? But if someone has objectively screwed you over, you know, it's like you have to consider, you know, why did they do this? Am I in the wrong? But if someone has objectively screwed you over, you have right to be angry at them. You have right to be mad at them. You know, like it's not like this isn't something that you should like take on yourself. And this is what's killing men. This is what's killing masculinity. What's really killing masculinity is not that, oh, men are just too soft and there's too much comfort. You gotta run from comfort. You gotta get hard! Get hard! David Goggins! I look like Frozone. I look like Frozone from fucking Incredibles mixed with a feral ghoul from Fallout. David Goggins, let's go! Get hard! That's not why masculinity's dying, because people aren't listening to David Goggins, because people aren't listening to Andrew Tate. It's because the weight of fucking all moral action is placed onto men, and men are just collapsing under the weight, because the fact is, sex is a two-way street, marriage is a two-way street, and women have a moral obligation to men that they are not holding up. They have an obligation to love men and to love their husband, and they're not doing that. Women have given up and just like think that they like don't have to care about their husband. They don't have to care about their boyfriend. And obviously, to some extent, men are at fault there, because men, specifically men who have last names ending in Steen, have perpetuated a male ethos of fornication and sex worship, which has led women to having so many options because of sex worship, that they feel as though they can just treat men however they want, and there's no issue, because they can just ride another dick when this dick isn't big enough, or I can just hook up with someone else who has bigger muscles or has a larger number on their bank statement. But still, the point is that women have a moral responsibility that they're not fulfilling. And I see a lot of red pill gurus, right wingers, and all this, and also left wingers, where it's like all the responsibility on in the relationship to do the right thing, to be moral, is all placed on men. It's all placed on men, and it's like, of course, when that's what's expected of men, that men are just going to falter and lose their sense of morality, sense of moral code, sense of masculinity. Men aren't going to want to be masculine when you redefine masculinity into some kind of like sick, hyper contrast perversion. I don't know. So these are just some thoughts on this. Let me look. Am I on point? Tell me in the chat. Send me a super chat if I'm on point. Like the stream if I'm on point. Signed, your free grace said, dude just went from 0 to 100. Rivalstein says cook. Akenji said my mom heard that, lol. Crunchy B-roll says it the Wyoming fought. Bruh. Buckwater says outburst of man detected. Real nigga alert. Vigor of Christ. Yeah, I just went Jesus mode when he took out the whip. When he took out the whip and he started... No, I'm not going to take off my belt. I was going to take off my belt and start whipping the camera. No, this is when my pants fall down. I've lost some weight. These pants don't fit no more. I actually need a belt now. But that would have been funny bit. That would have been a funny bit if I just started whipping the camera. But no, I went Jesus mode when he started whipping the gamblers in the church, the people that were gambling and selling stuff in the church. That's what I just did right there. Spooky Skeletal says preach it, nigga. Buckwater says they go to the gym for the same reason women do. Yeah. It's terrible. Chima Nwere says, love your channel, brother. Thank you very much. Country B-roll says his GF never loved him. Very real. Very real. Spooky Skeletal says, seek therapy if you believe that kind of mentality. Yeah, I mean, people who have this, female worship, sex worship kind of mentality, they actually do need therapy, straight up. I mean, I don't really think they need therapy. They need God. They need to read the Bible, and they need the prayer and self-reflection. Really, is what they need. But for people that just, for whatever reason, can't do that, therapy might be like a second-rate, shittier option that will probably help them, but not as much. The thing is, you can't trust therapists. You really can't trust therapists. And therapists like this guy, they do what this guy does, where they just assume your problems and they shape your problems to their perfection and subtract your feelings from the equation, and they just push their ideology, their storybook fantasy LARP on you. That their utopian fantasies onto you. They don't actually try to help you through your problems and teach you right from wrong, moral from immoral, light from dark. They don't do that for you, you know. So I wouldn't trust therapy, but you're right. Because people who think like that, who worship women in that kind of way, where like they're like so obsessed with sex, they were like sexually assaulted as kids. They were exposed to pornography. I mean, most men today, and most men act like this. And most men have been exposed to pornography at around 11 years old. That's the average for most men, which means that there are a lot of men who are younger than 11, some that are older as well. So they actually do have like trauma. They have sexual trauma that they need to work through. So you're so right about that. Sign Your Free Grace Sis says, yeah, please don't, because it's not attractive to us. We don't want a man's sole don't want to be a man's sole priority, believe it or not. Very true. Buckwater says therapy is a scam. David Goggins looks like a high elf. Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. No fucking way. Yeah. Holy shit. Gosh. It's so real. Oh my gosh. Crunchy B-roll says, I do not understand at all the mentality of cheating. If you don't understand it, it's because you're a moral person. Okay, you're a moral person. Where does cheating come from? There's a cat under my floor right now, meowing. I think there's two cats having sex under my floor. Anyways, we got some feral cats. We got some feral cats living in my neighborhood. I think they're under my floorboards right now, doing the deed. So you guys get to listen to that. Anyways, so What was I even saying? Oh yeah, the mentality of cheating. From what I understand, okay, and I'm not 100% on this because I haven't really done a lot of studying on cheating, but I think cheating comes from two places. Number one, it comes from sexual dysfunction. Okay, there has to be some kind of sexual dysfunction that is pre-existed in the person's life prior to the relationship. Some kind of young childhood trauma, early teen trauma. And something is scratched at my door. But so there's some kind of trauma going on there. And then secondarily, there has to be some kind of resentment between the partners. There has to be some kind of resentment. Thirdly, there needs to be some kind of home wrecker. For women, it's called a home wrecker. For men, it's called a beta male orbiter. And so with women, you have this seductress witch. When I say witch, I mean like a literal witch. Okay, you have a witch. You have a succubus spirit. You have a succubus spirit woman doing sex magic, who preys on unhappy men for sex magic. Okay, that comes into the man's life during this time of, sadness and grief with the relationship. That is the recipe for cheating for men cheating on their wife. And for women cheating on their wife, what happens there is you have the beta male orbiter. And what a beta male orbiter is it's someone who has sexual dysfunction themselves. They have some kind of dysfunction in their life. And so a beta male orbiter as a woman. You know them because they kind of have like this creepy rapist kind of vibe around them. They have a creepy rapist kind of vibe. Okay. And a beta male orbiter can't attract women because he has some kind of dysfunction in his sexual life that makes that send red flags to the woman that they are a sexual predator. And so what they do is they hang around with women and make friends with women who are going through some kind of emotional crisis, that are in a relationship. And they go to the woman and they're like, "Oh, your husband's such a bad guy. He's such a bad guy. Yeah, I can't believe he treats you like that." And it's these people who are like the biggest fornicators, and they go around to these women in relationships that are having troubled relationships, and basically are there to be the shoulder to cry on as they're going through this rough time with their husband or their boyfriend. And then so what happens is, as the woman is crying on their shoulder, this beta male orbiter will grab their boobie or grab their leg or kiss them. And the woman, full of resentment towards her partner, towards loneliness, will basically sleep with them as a way to basically insult their partner and attack their partner and get some kind of revenge out of that. And it's obviously, it's like a sick way to think about things, and obviously it's not really helping you. It's not really actually solving your problems, but that's just kind of the mindset of what happens. Now, obviously, like the woman is at fault there, but I'm just kind of explaining what would lead someone to cheat. So these are my observations. These are my observations here. Rand News says, "I joined the stream, greeted with Joey Sands, telling me to get hard." Get hard! Get hard! Buckwater says, look up Al Goldstein said about why he brought hardcore to America. You guys should look that up, by the way. I can't, we can't talk too much about that. Buckwater says, I just laughed with you at it and it recharged my batteries. Based. Country B-roll says that's dirty minded about the cat. It's not dirty minded. It's not dirty minded. When, I'm not going to get into this, okay? If you've never been around cats before, and you've never been around cats who had kittens before, and who have been in, okay, then you don't know what you're talking about, okay? I don't have a dirty mind. I'm just being honest. New Eastand's out of context. I think 2 cats are having sex under my floor. Signed, your free grace sis says insecurity, more specifically insecure styles, anxious, avoidant, disorganized, or more likely to cheat, versus secure people. Other times it's because the person is a jerk. Brand New says, just say dating out of the ring. Just say out of the dating ring. My friend recently just got rigged by it. Not worth gambling your sandy over. Please pray for him. Yeah, pray for this guy's friend, whatever happened to him. Just getting cheated on. Buckwater says, I think women cheat when they don't love their man. Well, see, love is complicated and relationships are complicated, and yeah, I mean, I guess to some extent, how much do you love someone when you betray them at the deepest core level? Because the most dangerous thing you can do is have sex with someone. You're supposed to only have sex with one partner, and so that's like the most intimate act that you ever have because it's the most dangerous act. The act of sex is dangerous. It creates a child. It can give you an STD, and there's lots of other spiritual implications to it. So to have sex with someone else, that's like the ultimate, deepest betrayal. So, I mean, there is a good question asked there. How much can you love someone when you're willing to do that to them, you know? Country B-roll says army wives get lonely and then talk to the neighbor. Rand News says army wives, I imagine army wives being more loyal. Country B-roll says no, they cheat a lot because they're alone. Yes, this happens, but again, we can have empathy for why they do it, but don't just like write it off. Like, oh, they're lonely. They're lonely. No, that's evil what they did, and it's wrong, and there's no excuse for it. But okay, let's keep watching. The analysis continues. And by the way, if you want this stream to go much longer, send a super chat, okay?
Video, but what I'm saying is, there's going to be a ton of different things that seem like they are worthy of trying, and many of them are. But when it comes to doing something long term, when it comes to building something that you want to do for the rest of your life, the earlier that you can find that, the better. Because even when I was 18 years old, 19 years old, as like a freshman, sophomore in college, even earlier, I knew that at some point I would start a YouTube channel. I would want to do something like this, for a long time. And I've kind of made a commitment at this point that I'm going to be as consistent as possible with this YouTube channel. And I've already put in like a ton of hours. It may not seem like it just because of how many subscribers I have, which I'm thankful for, every single one of the 136 of you. But this is something that I'm happy putting hours into. Like when I was making this, other dropshipping store or trying these other social media marketing agencies, that was almost comfortable because I didn't have to actually like put myself out there, right? Like I was able to just kind of sit behind my keyboard and like put some buttons.
Yo, big shout out to Sign Your Free Grace Sis, sent $1.99 through Super Chat. Let's go. Let me shout out their channel real quick. So, Oh, I have a video of me pulled up. I was gonna get into that. We'll get into this. If you guys send some more super chat, I'll get into some of my old content. We'll talk a little bit about that. But let me shout out Signed Your Free Grace Sis. So and this is a sister in Christ, and they make some good videos, very doctrinally sound videos, and so very cool channel. They did a little video calling out Jonathan Shelby or Shelley, whatever his name is. Recently did something on the passage in Revelations talking about lukewarm Christians. So it's a very good channel. I recommend you all check it out. Thanks for the super chat.
Set up some more, just like nothing that was ever too scary. Really low risk. It's like you call these guys, you call these restaurants, or you call, some places and try and get them some more customers. You're behind the phone. You're not putting your identity on the line. You're not risking any sort of embarrassment. I mean, you are in a sense, but nobody can see it, right? Like I was saying, even when I was 18, 19 years old, earlier than that, I knew that at some point I would start a YouTube channel. But for whatever reason, the thought of starting a YouTube channel was more comfortable than actually doing it. Which is true for a lot of people. Like, I just can't, it just makes me so, when I look back at myself and I think like, bro, you wanted to do this, you knew you wanted to do this for a long time. Why in the world were you waiting this long? And why did you wait till you were 22 years old to start this?
When I was to ask, like, why does this guy have these goals, right? Why does this guy have these goals? Why is this a goal to, why is this guy's goal to be a YouTuber, Why is this guy, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. That's my goal in life. That's my major goal, I wanna film myself in my car giving shit life advice. Like that's just something to think about, something to consider.
When I think about this, the more I think about this, the more I realize it all comes back to comfort. 18-year-old, 19-year-old me was comfortable just thinking about what was going to happen the next day. I was comfortable just thinking about, oh, I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do in the future. I'm just in college. I'm just living life right now. That's all. I also had something inside of me that did fear what people thought of me. I don't know if I ever was able to admit it, but I did. I could not get over the fact that if I were to put myself out there and post a video or post something or whatever, that people would think of me as someone who's weird or cringe or whatever. And like, now that I realize that it doesn't matter at all, like you guys know what I'm talking about. Like you have like a moment, and it might come sooner than later, when you just realize that no other opinion of yourself matters besides your own. But it's comfortable to, it's comfortable to just to sit and not.
Man, I mean, like, this is like such like basic worldly satanic life advice. Like, just do as thou wilt, Satanism. Like, this guy is just falling for the satanic trap. Like, he's literally like trapped up in some kind of witchcraft Satanist spell right now. And like, where's that going to take you? Where is that going to take you? And it's like, the only opinion that matters is your own. It's like, whatever I do is moral. Whatever I decide to do is moral. Whatever I decide to do is right. Me.
Do the thing and use the excuse of, oh, I'm scared of what other people are going to think of me.
It's like, the thing about like starting a YouTube channel, it's like, well, you want to start a YouTube channel doing life advice. Well, what value are you providing to others? Like I could solidly say that I'm providing value for others. Now, right, obviously I'm doing all this through the grace of God or whatever, but like, if I look at my channel, right, like, let's just look at my channel. Like, I think my videos are actually like providing value to others in some sense. Okay, because for one, I have experience that other people don't have. I have been blessed with an understanding of the Bible that, thanks to God's supernatural intervention, that is better than many other people's. And I have been redirecting people away from false teachers here and trying to direct them towards the truth, directing them away from false teachings. And of course, like, I think that I'm like mildly entertaining, so I can provide the bare minimum of like making people laugh. And I also have a lot of experience in a lot of different religions, as well as I've done a lot of research into psychology, and I have a deep understanding of psychology and a little bit of like philosophy even. And I'm still learning about that. And now I'm even getting into like the early church fathers. I've been researching for the past couple of days the early church and church history and stuff. So like I actually have something to offer. And so, like, I've had a lot of people asking me like, "Oh, should I make a YouTube channel?" Um making a YouTube channel is a fake job in my opinion. I don't like having my YouTube channel in a lot of ways. And I don't take a great pride in it. I don't really like to talk about my YouTube channel because when I look at most YouTubers and I look at like a lot of my older content, I've deleted most of my older content. But like a lot of my older content is just, it's just goy slop, it's just shit goy slop. This is like a video from 3 years ago. It's just shit goy slop, right? Because I'm making videos, and maybe this whole video or whatever looks all aesthetically pleasing, and there's this cool musical montage at the beginning, but like ultimately, like, what matters in life, okay, is our moral decisions. And what moral decisions basically boil down to ultimately, right? What moral decisions boil down to is whether or not we are providing value to the people around us, or if we are detracting value from the people around us, right? So are you building up your brothers and sisters in Christ, and are you building up your neighbor? Are you making them more wealthy? Are you giving them more wisdom? How are you helping them, how are you helping them, right? And that's what matters. And so I don't like the prospect of having a YouTube channel as a career, because like most of like what is popular on YouTube is like, "Oh, I play video games." I play video games. I give my shit political takes on things. I give my I give you my political opinions, But there's no value being transmitted there. So you really have a fake job, and you're basically just leeching off of others. You're leeching off of others for income. And even what I'm doing, it's like, is it really the most helpful thing in the world? I don't know. So I'm not planning on making YouTube my full-time career, unless I mean, I don't know. I mean, would it be nice? Like, would I enjoy doing that as a full-time career? Definitely. But is it moral, and is it right to do that? That's what matters. Does this actually provide enough value to people's lives, where like if I was making money off of it, that it would be moral for me to make a significant amount of money off of it? Do I, that's something to consider. And so this guy is like, "Oh, I'm going to start my YouTube channel. I'm going to get YouTube famous, and I'll be like Andrew Tate or Logan Paul or David Goggins, the High Elf." But it's like, have you thought about like what you're putting out there? Have you thought about like the value that you're actually providing? Like, what value can you actually provide? Like, why should people listen to you? And listen, like, people are going to listen to you on YouTube if you're charismatic or whatever, but that's not value, right? Being charismatic is not value. It's not moral value. Being interesting is not moral value. It's like, are you inspiring other people to either walk in morality? Are you giving them good advice that helps them overcome problems? Are you actually doing that? Or are you just like spewing at the camera, kind of giving these half-baked, shittier versions of common cliche statements that other content creators make that you're just rehashing into your own video? And again, I don't want to be too hard on the guy because like I don't want to like break this guy's heart or whatever, but you know, when I watch this video, it just kind of seems like this guy is just regurgitating cliches, amalgamated cliches that he's got from watching Joe Rogan, David Goggins, Andrew Tate, and Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, that's really what it seems like here.
As a reason not to do it. And I saw this comment the other day on some YouTube video, and it was to the effect, it was something along the lines of, "Hey, so and so, whoever made the video, I look up to you a lot. Thank you for everything you've done for me so far. I'm going to the gym. I have a good diet. I'm meditating, and I want to start posting on YouTube."
So this guy is inspiring people to go to the gym, meditate. What does he inspire people to do?
So whoever made the video, I look up to you a lot. Thank you for everything you've done for me so far. I'm going to the gym. I have a good diet. I'm meditating, and I want to start posting on YouTube.
So going to the gym, having a good diet, and meditating. Why are those things important? You know, like why is that important? See, so like, okay, so he is inspiring people to do something, right? Like I'm not necessarily saying that he's just like totally worthless or something like that. And nobody's worthless. Everyone has something to offer, I'd like to think. But what is this guy actually inspiring people to do? It's like, oh, I inspire people to lift weights. It's like, is lifting weights like moral though? Is that morality? Like, lifting weights is a good thing, I guess, right? I guess it's a good thing, right? But it's only good in a certain context. You know, the Bible says, it says that, you know, bodily exercise profits little. Now, it's not to say that lifting weights is bad, but it's to say that lifting weights does not profit much in and of itself. So if you focus your entire life around getting big, you're not actually really accomplishing something, right? It's just another vanity and vexation of spirit. It's just another meaningless suffering which you're putting yourself through. Just lifting weights in and of itself is, unless, now there's a way to lift weights that's good, okay? But if you're just lifting weights in and of itself and you're just trying to be like a bodybuilder for whatever reason, just because you want to like look good or whatever, it's just meaningless suffering, because you are literally putting yourself through suffering to build muscle. You know, you're lifting the barbell. You're lifting the dumbbells, and it's like you're just putting your body through stress and suffering meaninglessly. You know, there's no purpose behind it. Oh, well, I want to be healthier. But it's like, okay, well, why be healthier? Why not just be like fat and like do drugs? You know, why is that meaningful to you? And it's like, well, because Andrew Tate does that. well, because Andrew Tate does that. You know, why is all this important? Why does it matter to you? You know, why is this of any kind of moral virtue? You know? And so like working out is good when you're working out to get a better mind-body connection, clarity of thinking, more blood flow to the brain, more oxygen to the brain, so that you can think more clearly, so that you can make better decisions in your life, so that you can, you know, more readily serve God, more readily, you know, understand the Bible and things like that, and make moral decisions that are good. But is he focused on that? And then he's talking about meditating, and it's like, well, what the hell are you even talking about when you say meditating? I mean, I go to this guy's channel, and on his channel he has this satanic symbol here. This is a satanic symbol. This is a Taoist symbol. And this is the yin yang. What this really means is it's the satanic concept of as above, so below, as in that there is a God above and a God below, and doing evil, you see the black there? Can you guys see my mouse? I hope you guys can see my mouse. Let's see, can you guys see my mouse? Okay. Alright, so this is a satanic symbol, and so the black represents doing evil, the white represents doing good, and these are two fish that are chasing each other, okay? And the two fish are chasing each other, saying that life is in a constant cycle of good and evil, and that there's a good era and a bad era, and evil is unescapable and good is unescapable, and these things just happen, okay? And that there's these two gods vying for control over the world, chasing each other and fighting each other. And then within the evil god, there's a little bit of good, right? That little circle of good. And within the good God, there's that little circle of bad. And what this represents is that when doing good, there is the potential that your good actions will actually cause the world to become worse and that the world will become more evil. And that in the black, the reason why there's a little bit of good is that in doing evil, there's actually the potential to help the world and do good. So this is a straight up satanic symbol. So he says that, oh, I'm helping people to meditate. Well, what do you mean by meditation? Obviously, like, this guy's a Taoist or some kind of like shit. And Taoism, well, why does this guy even think about Taoism? That's like a Chinese philosophy. He thinks about it because public schools force Taoism, force meditation on us in public schools. I remember being forced to do meditation by my teacher, Taoist breathing techniques and shit. And it's like, man, just, you know, so this guy's pushing CIA propaganda on us, right? He's pushing CIA Satanism, witchcraft onto his viewers. It's like, so are you really helping people? Like, objectively, like, objective value standards, is pushing witchcraft on your viewers helpful? Does that add value and meaning to their lives, or does it detract value and meaning from their lives? Right? And this all matters, and this is all important because God's going to hold you accountable. If you start a YouTube channel, for all of you guys, I know there's a lot of people here that want to start a YouTube channel. You start a YouTube channel, you're going to go out putting shit out there. You really got to consider what you're putting out there, because God's going to hold you accountable for what you say, what you put out there, what you do to others, what you influence others to do. And so if you're influencing people to do evil, God's not going to be very happy with you. God's not going to be very happy with you, and you're going to be condemned for that, and you're going to be chastised for that. And if you're enjoying the analysis, by the way, send some super chats in, send some super berries in. But I think we got some deep stuff here. We're getting into some deep stuff here. And, you know, so if you're appreciating this, if this is giving you any value, if I'm adding value to your life, then send some super chats. And if I'm not sending value to your life, if I'm not giving you value, then don't send me money. Like Kenji says, my dude looks like if he was religious, he would be orthodox. Very true. I had a little alarm set off there. Probably. Buckwater says, N-word aspired to be an influencer. N-word aspired to be an influencer and is trying to life coach me. Yeah, exactly. It's like your aspirations in life was to be a drop shipper, be an influencer, but then we're going to go out here and give people life advice. Rand News says maybe he's a Wiccan. Crunchy B-roll says he just wanted to figure out what to do with his life, it seems. I understand that, but you shouldn't give people life advice when you yourself don't have you don't know what you're talking about because you're gonna hurt people. What I mean, I do give some life advice. Like I've given like I guess some like career advice here, and like I'm unemployed, so. But at least I can say I'm unemployed, so don't necessarily take this advice as being like great advice or anything. Okay, I'm a 22-year-old. Okay, I'm a 22-year-old. I don't have everything figured out. I'm not employed right here. Buckwater says Mr. Beast. Very true, very true. Mr. Beast is going to be condemned by God, for the stuff that he's putting out there because he's not influencing people towards virtue or towards morality. Rand News says Vouch moment. Buckwater says he wants to be Yoda so bad. Live to protect yourself and your loved ones from crackheads. Very true. Buckwater says Gnostic. Rand News says Demiurge. Buckwater says Star Wars morality. Ranu says Eastern religions are false religions. Very true. They are started by demons. And Akenji says, bruh, I feel like there's a bunch of people with these kinds of videos. Well, yeah, there are. So what was so interesting to me and why I want to kind of cover this is that this guy is basically just mimicking other YouTubers. He's mimicking people like Gary V. Like that's clearly one of his main influences here. He's clearly mimicking Gary Vaynerchuk. And we could get into that, but you guys aren't sending any super chats, so I'm just gonna take that as a sign that I'm overstaying my welcome here, and you guys are not getting any value out of this. So I'll get going, but I hope for those of you that watched, who maybe are a little too broke to send any super chats, that you enjoyed the content and you did get something out of it. And hope you guys appreciate the stream. Thanks for watching, and we can get into this a little more. We can get maybe a little bit more. If you guys have anything that you want me to analyze or look at, send it to me. I'll check it out. But as far as this stream, I think we're going to be calling it a night. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks.